Alright, this is Web Captain Drew. Welcome back to EP5 Galactic Island, man. That's right, Galactic Island. We are sailing off on another discussion voyage about the paranormal. One of my favorite subjects. And as we pack the pirate headquarters up, it's an honor for me to be able to do this. So, I am your host, and like when I did the last episode about Bigfoot, I remembered I had left something out. And it's kind of related to what I wanted to do tonight, because when I did the Bigfoot thing, I kind of had in mind what I was going to discuss, but I think it's important to add this in. Because when I had mentioned the Patterson-Gimlin film, that's a kind of an iconic, part of the legend of Bigfoot, in modern times. And I remembered that I wanted to make a point of, because in my generation, we didn't have all the, it's very important too, relevant to this episode. I won't be discussing Bigfoot tonight, but I will be, it will be related to that. So, what I was thinking was, when Patterson and Gimlin got accused, of course, of making up the whole setup for Bigfoot. I've seen interviews of people, and the people that, some of them that were saying that they were part of the scam that, made the Yeti suit, and the guy that's allegedly wore it. There's all kinds of stories, of course. And pretty much anybody will do anything to make a buck, right? And especially on a story that is that big. So, I kind of have my reservations about them having made it up. I think that Patterson and Gimlin were... I think they just got really lucky and got film. And my reason for that is because if you look at the film, and I didn't really know this till later. I mean, maybe I did back when it first came out. It was like on shows and stuff. We didn't have the internet back in my generation. So we saw those things like on television shows where people would, discuss them, but you didn't have like all this analysis that you do now, like with, say, YouTube and these documentaries about, Sasquatch or paranormal shows where they, go back and try to remake it, or they try to debunk it. But one of the things from back then that I think is kind of a good point about it is that when they caught the Sasquatch on film, it was a woman Sasquatch, right? Now, I thought about this a lot, because when they got accused of making the film up, I have friends that are, I don't know I suppose it's not offensive to say rednecks, but I have some friends that are rednecks. And, when we would go out in the woods, go camping, fishing, whatever, together, if I said to one of them, hey, I want you to put a Yeti suit on and fake a film, and we're going to try to, fool everybody. And then, but there's one catch. This Yeti suit has boobs. Like, that does not make sense, man. Like, if you're going to fake a film, if two guys are going to fake a film, they're not going to fake a film and make their buddy get into a costume that's a woman Yeti and out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. I mean, think about this. Like, I've seen them go back to the place where they were on horseback and stuff, and it just doesn't fit. Like, they've studied the film, and they've had people say that, that it is real. It's a real film. Like, there's a lot of things you can say to debunk stuff, but I don't know, man. I don't think that they did fake the Patterson-Gimlin film. I do think it is it's a real capture, and I think there are some other ones out there. But that's why I wanted to start this episode off with that, because I'm a little perplexed. So, Today, when I was getting the EP done for the internet, for the website, you know, I have these things that I check through. I do my own social media. I have to go and check all the accounts and see what's out there. And so, as I'm going through, I find this one strange video on social media, and it's these guys on a boat, and they allegedly capture a mermaid. So, you know, I gotta be honest, I spent a lot of time on boats, on surfboards. I lived on a boat for 10 years. That's why I'm Web Captain Drew. And one of the things that I can honestly say is that there are all kinds of things in the ocean that we don't know yet. I mean, it's 80% of the earth is water, and a lot of it is, there's no way for us to humanly get to it. They're just now getting submarines that can go down to the, like, you know, the areas like the Mariana Trench and stuff like that. And they are able to do a lot of sonar and stuff now with new technology. But this is like a place where, you know, it's kind of like these million-acre forests where people have never set foot in before. There could be anything out there, you know. So, but as I'm watching this video about mermaids, I was thinking about back when I used to work in a surf shop. One of my friends was telling me that there was a mermaid documentary. He's like, you gotta watch it. So I did, and I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy, you know. And come to find out later on that the documentary was a fake. It was actors, and they had made the whole thing up. So I was kind of like a little bummed out, because when you were watching it, it was set up like a documentary. So they fooled me, right? It's easy to get fooled sometimes. As I'm watching this, though, I'm thinking about, you know, is it possible or not? Asking myself, because as a surfer, there's, you know, the legends of the mermaids. It's important to our culture in the surf community. You know, people wear t-shirt designs with mermaids. We, you know, even like our company RumBullets, we have our mermaid channel. We have, you know, designs that are around the mermaid, because we're a part of the ocean. It's an ocean themed company. We're pirate apparel, boat clothing. So mermaids has been something that have always been part of the ocean. It's just folklore. But is it real? So as I'm watching this video, it's like kind of tripping me out, because I'm like, this video looks so real, but every time I look at a video now, I'm skeptical, because the first thing that pops in my mind is it's AI. So I'm perplexed about this whole AI thing, because I think that there's been a lot of people that have dedicated their lives to the discussion of paranormal, whether it be UFOs, Bigfoot, ghost hunting, those areas. And now we have this world of just fake garbage. And, you know, as I'm watching this video, I'm looking at it, it's so real that I'm like, I had to watch it, like, you know, it was a short reel. And I know that they say that the AI reels are a lot smaller, like 7 seconds. So I'm like, well, it's definitely short. It's not, they're not showing things like after, like, you know, like a long duration of a capture of a video makes you, you know, be able to have more information about it, right? Because when I'm looking at this, I've been on a lot of boats, I've been on the ocean, it looks very real. And I'm like, really kind of let down with this whole AI thing, because it's taking over the internet. And so when you see these things, and I researched where the video came from, and it was obviously a web page that had, you know, 100 of these, like, I guess all of them, probably 100% of them, were all AI generated. So this is like me being an artist, and if I offend anybody, well, you know, I'm just going to tell you, if you're using AI to create something, just remember, you're not really creating it. The computer is. The computer programmers that made those programs created it. and you're just using it. You're actually a tool. So you're not doing anything on your own. You're not creating something yourself. And the thing with computers is it has given us ability to do a lot of really cool stuff. Like with my videos, I create art around my videos. It's all art that I do, but I use software that helps me make it cooler, like to add effects and like, you know, a lightning bolt here and a sound of a, you know, whatever there and the laser beam here. Like, but those are things that like I've done like with my art palette that I'm proud of, that I have the ability to do it, but at the same time, I'm not just talking into a computer and saying, make this and create this for me. And I think if people nowadays, especially kids that are growing up and like think that AI is like going to make them something that they want to be, but they don't learn how to do it, I think it's a very dangerous tool that people are using right now. Because for one thing, it's definitely going to wipe out the art world, the music world completely. Like, what's the point of me making any videos anymore? I was thinking about it tonight. I'm like, when I started this whole Galactic Island thing, I'm like, I'll have a really good platform. I want to talk about some of my stories and, well, you know, be able to add my art to them. RBUX is something that I created over time with RumBullets, and you know, my character Chud and all the other things that we've done. We created over time as an evolution in a process to make something that's really cool. Our platform is really cool. We spent 10 years building it. And so if somebody can come in and just make an AI platform that is backed by money, it doesn't give real artists a chance to showcase things that are genuine and real. And I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for all of you that use it in a way that doesn't let you create, because you are cheating. You're making counterfeit, fake, corny stuff that is just spam garbage. And when you create that way, you're not an artist. You're not a musician. You're not an artist. You are just somebody that is using an app that doesn't do anything for you except for just contribute to all the other junk that's out there. So, this is my message. I don't think that we should use technology for things that make people not smarter. And I think AI has a potential problem with the community, especially for content media. They're going to be the first ones that are wiped out from it, because you can't compete if somebody's going to go and make a whole show. It takes me like a whole 2 or 3 days to create one of my videos for this Galactic Island thing. When I used to do a podcast, it would take me an entire day to write it, record it, and then we would edit it. It would take almost 2 days just to get a half-hour podcast. I did that for 8 years, and I struggled. It was painful. That's why we're having to move, because people didn't support us. They didn't back us. And that's not a big deal, because you know what? I didn't do it for other people. I did it for myself. And as you get older, you have to find another way to make a living. You can't always just break your back your entire life. So it was a choice that I made. But at the same time, I see people that are cheats. You're using AI, it makes you a cheat. And if you, it's like the advanced version of being a video game. If you play Guitar Hero, that doesn't make you a guitar player, right? And Guitar Hero is a popular game. I've played it, but I'm a guitar player. So when I played it, I didn't like it because I didn't appreciate it. And I'm like, what is this? I'm looking at lights and this isn't playing the guitar. I didn't say anything to my friend because he loved the game and he was so excited to show me. And I think that's cool for him. But in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, go to the pawn shop with $100 and get yourself a guitar and make real music. Now, not everybody can do that because they don't have the ability or the talent or the determination to learn something. But I'm telling you, if you want to play music, don't do it with AI. Learn to play music. You didn't have to go to school like I did for 12 years and play in a band all through school to learn it. I could have learned the same things when I was graduated and an adult. You have to do things for yourself, or you will just become not who you're meant to be. Like, sometimes you have to cut the cord of the internet. Like, that's one thing people sometimes will ask me, well, why don't you keep your cell phone on? Or, I don't want to keep my cell phone on. It's like a weight around my neck, you know? Like, I don't want to be followed around with it everywhere I go. But I like having it. I don't want to get breakdown in my car and not have it. At the same time, though, I have, like, restrictions. If I'm out fishing and I'm in my tent camping with my friends, my cell phone ain't coming on all weekend. Maybe, like, once or twice to make sure I don't have any messages. But, you know, I want to detach from that. And I think that young people these days, the millennials, you guys got to learn that computers are not everything. They're not. They will make you lazy, and you will not be able to use your brain if you think talking into an AI app is creating something. It's not. You're not creating anything except for just something that it's going to be created by 10 other people that think they're doing the same thing. Take it for what it's worth. Make what you want, but, you know, you have to believe in yourself or you will never become anything except for a fake. You'll be a phony. So, that's my message. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back in a flash. Alright, I'm back here. So, okay, are mermaids real or not? So my thing about AI has like kind of led me to believe that, you know, there's possibly anything out there in the ocean. Like, we just don't know. And what is really hard about this whole AI thing is that we may never know now, because everything we could be seeing, people could be making fake videos to get clicks. And it is impressive, because I'll tell you, I guarantee you could take any skeptic and watch the video that I was just watching this afternoon. They wouldn't be able to tell the difference between what was real and fake, because it looks so real. Like, I was actually kind of shocked, to be honest. And, you know, I mean, if you're a movie maker, yeah, that's great, because, you know, the movie business, and I know this from being in content creation, it's a very hard business to make, especially if you're an independent movie maker. I have friends that are independent movie makers, and it is a tough business. Like, and I know this too from my experience in finance, that if you're an investor, you got to know what you're doing if you invest in the movie business, because it is you can lose your money real quick. So it's not for the weak of heart if you're trying to get into the movie business as being like an executive, right? You don't just go in there half cocked, half willy-nilly, thinking that you're going to become the next, you know, big movie production company, because it will chew you up and spit you out. Exactly. So what I do know, though, is that, you know, AI will give maybe a chance for people. Like, for instance, I have experimented. Now, I'm not just like going to bash on AI and say that there's not uses for it that I maybe even can see myself using in the future. Like, for instance, anytime you like go on your search engine and you type something in and you ask for, you know, information about, you know, where's the nearest tire shop, I don't know, you're using AI. That's what, you know, the algorithm is. So, you know, there are some things that we're just like probably not going to go in reverse from technology. So that's what's kind of sad in one way, is that if it's used for the wrong reasons and people are using it to become something that they're not, you're really just like kind of inflating yourself into like a nothing, balloon. So what I really think though is kind of cool about it, like for instance, when I was experimenting with it, I wanted to know like what the applications of it were, what was out there, because if you know anything about computers, software changes every day, right? Like your cell phone, your computer, your TV, like those things are always changing. They're always upgrading, and things are going, like back when I was a young person, we had VHS players, all right? Like I don't know anybody that has a VHS player anymore, but I'm sure there are people that do, but you don't go to the store and buy a VHS player. But those were in everybody's house, 30 years ago. So technology is constantly changing. And I think that like with AI, there are applications. For instance, I use it to, I had remastered one of my album covers. It was a all day project of me doing it. And I was really happy with the outcome and how I created, redid it. And so when the AI started coming out, this technology is obviously everywhere you look now on the internet. I was like, well, I want to try to see what it does with some, pictures for a remaster of another one of my album covers. And so I did, and it came out really cool. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm very happy with it. Like, if I wasn't an artist, I would have to pay somebody for that. So there are applications that for some things that I can't just beat it to death when there are practical applications for it that will help people in some ways. But I think as a creator, you're looking at it saying, man, that's the end of everything I've created for 10 years and done, because people will just copy what I've done and turn it into some kind of AI nonsense and steal what I worked very hard to create. Like that's kind of that's a hard pill to swallow for anybody that's trying to make money in a very competitive field. Like I said, like if you're a movie maker and you're an independent movie maker, a lot of times those projects are self-funded. So those guys and gals that are making those movies, they're depending that they will eventually, that movie will pay off in some way. And it's really hard if you're self-funding. So, maybe it will help with some things to help people get an edge to create things that are really cool. And at the same time, there's the other side of it where you could be looking at a mermaid video and it looks like the real thing, where you're almost confused by it, like thinking, wow, is this really happening? And then, as you start to research it and you see that where the source is from, there's all kinds of these generated videos that can lead you astray into falling into that documentary that Web Captain Drew was fooled by. There's now a different version of that where it's even more real, but it's probably 100% fake. So I don't know. One thing I do know about this kind of being like the end of a Sparrow Radio chapter, as far as like us closing the pirate headquarters and moving to a different location, is that in one way I'm kind of glad, because when I see the the future of what content media is, I don't really have an interest to be a part of it anymore. So it's kind of sad in a way, because I had a lot of fun for 10 years doing it. Like I said, we were going to do a documentary about our 10 years and what we experienced during that time. So at the same time, I'm kind of getting to do that in a way. And at first, when I thought about it, I'm like, man, it'd be really hard to do, because I will be saying goodbye if I do that officially. And so I didn't want to do that. But at the same time, I do know that everything does come to an end eventually. So even if like we go on and Sparrow Radio keeps producing our shows and our art and collaborations, it will be different in the future because of the advanced technology that we're looking at. And one more point about that, because I'm running out of time. The 3-Eye Atlas is very weird, because I seen somebody had made a comment about that in this whole thing with, artificial intelligence and everything. And I'm like thinking, wow, we don't know now even if that could be like a psyop. You don't really know. So there are a lot of things out there right now that are going to be very mysterious until people decide to, say, hey, enough's enough. You can't use your AI here or whatever. But at the same time, if you want to promote a show that's not AI, buy a RumBullets t-shirt from our Bonfire store, and go over to Bandcamp and download my digital discography. You can get the whole thing. I think it's like $10 for all 14 albums right now. So I would appreciate that, and you'll be helping an indie artist, and you'll also be supporting Sparrow Radio. That's where we're at. Hope to see you on the next episode. Thanks for stopping by. This is Web Captain Drew signing off. Sailing those high seas. Thank you for stopping by. Goodbye.